Hello, salespersons of all makes, models, and brands. My name is Chance, and thank you so much for tuning in to step 5 of the sales process over here at the Sales Bible. Today we're going to be taking a look at the financial needs analysis. Now, this is a touchy one for a lot of new salespeople. All you gotta bear in mind is it is your job to get this information to make it easier for the customer. The estimated time is between 10 to 20 minutes, depending on their level of prior knowledge, and we will address that a little bit later on. That being said, let's take a look at the process. So at this point, you're going to just be getting back from the test drive. You're going to open with a soft close and ask about time commitment. So you usually say something to the effect of, you know, Lisa, I think this is the perfect vehicle for you. Is this something you could see yourself driving on a regular basis? And she'll probably say yes, because most people do to this question. And then you'll say, great, do you have time to go over some numbers today? And then they'll usually say, I love the vehicle and I have some time to go over numbers. And to which you reply, fantastic. Grab a seat, I have a few more questions to get you the best pricing. And then you're going to collect the relevant information, which we will get to in a little bit. And then you'll say, great, thank you so much, Lisa. I'll be right back with some good news. And they'll reply, sounds great, Chance. This is typically how it goes 9 times out of 10. There's likely to be some hiccups during some point, but for the most part, this is a pretty simple process to follow. And dealing with those hiccups is something that time will probably do a better job of teaching you than I ever could. We will be doing videos on handling objections in the future, but for the most part, just roll with this. Now let's get to some must-ask questions. So I've chatted with a couple of the more experienced people at my dealership to get you guys some better questions. Essentially, most of these I use, but there's a couple wording kind of corrections that I made to make them just sound a lot nicer. So first and foremost, have you had your payment options explained to you? And they'll usually say no, or they'll usually say kind of. A lot of salespeople don't really do a good job at explaining people's options to them. They just get so caught up in the motions that they kind of just overlook it. So always take the time to explain the difference between financing, leasing, and making a lump sum payment, so that the buyer makes a more informed decision. And then you ask, what payment range were you hoping to achieve? As I mentioned in a prior video, I like using this word track just because it implies that you are already aware that they have a high price and a low price. The number they would ideally do business at, and the number that they will stretch to if they have to. And then you're going to ask, how much money were you able to put down? Don't ask if they have any money down. You always want money down. Gets you a better approval, gets you better payments, and lowers the total cost of borrowing, which a lot of people are kind of freaked out about for some reason. People are way more interest rate conscious than they really should be. It honestly doesn't make any logical sense. And I'll kind of explain why that is in some future objection series we'll be working on. And another good question, have you purchased through a dealership before? I really like this one because it kind of lets you know their level of experience with dealerships, and it'll put you in a very, very good position to be able to say things to the effect of, you know, it's just like the last time. Ultimately, you're going to end up paying a little bit more than you have to. Things of that nature. Kind of just use their own perceived knowledge and skill level against them, if at all possible. And then another great one to ask that I don't see anyone asking really, if we can come to agreeable terms, will you move forward today? This is a great way to gauge commitment level, and it is a great way to lead into subsequent word tracks that will stop them from shopping you out. For example, listen, Lisa, I understand you don't want to purchase today. In my experience, I've seen that we always give best pricing when we know a person is able to buy in the immediate future. If we do come to agreeable terms, would you at least be able to put down a deposit to secure the vehicle and secure the deal? And then they'll usually say yes, because logically that makes sense. If it's the vehicle you want, and if we can get to a price you want, it would make sense to put down a deposit, right? And then they'll say yeah. So, yeah, it's very rare you'll get a no to that. I mean, I guess technically it could happen, but ultimately, if you say it with enough conviction, it makes logical sense. So, and if they say no, then there's more than likely an underlying objection that hasn't been addressed there, and that will require a little bit of prying and digging to get to. And then after you ask all these and get answers for them, you'll run back to your manager and then relay what information you're able to gather, and they'll send you back out with some numbers. That's usually how it works, but we'll get into that when we get into the first pencil video. So now let's get into some tips. So at this stage of the financial needs analysis, the biggest tip I can give you is make sure your customers are well informed as to exactly what their options are. Make sure they understand how the payments work. Make sure they understand how important money down is. Make sure they understand exactly what they're getting. Because the more they understand, the less headaches you're going to run into later on. That's just the way it works. Another great tip is always make sure you have a backup plan in case your current one doesn't work. Make sure you have a backup unit, something of a lower trim level, or even a demo or something pre-owned, just in case you aren't able to get to their current budget. Also, make sure you have all relevant information at this step. It's just a real pain in the neck if you have to go back and ask for things. Reason being is after this stage, you're just going to want to build excitement on top of excitement and just make things as easy as possible for the customer, and it's really difficult to do that if you don't have all their information. So just make sure you have all of it by at least this point. This is a great time to ask for anything you might have missed, things like an extra photocopy of their license or extra photocopy of the registration. You're going to want to get it all done at this step is my point. In any case, that's going to be about it for this video. If there's any questions you like to ask during your financial needs analysis, please put that down in the comments beneath. As well, if you have any ideas on certain word tricks or ways to better improve how people present this current state, that'd be really appreciative. I appreciate it, and so does everyone else tuning in. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate your time. Hope you all have a great day, and as always, happy selling.